Investing is work, not entertainment. Most people step into the world of investing with a dangerous illusion that the market is a thrilling arena where excitement leads to profit. Charts are moving, social media is buzzing, and every sudden price jump feels like a shot of adrenaline. But George Soros, one of the most successful investors in history, destroys this illusion immediately. He reminds us that investing is work, demanding, disciplined, and often painfully boring, not a source of entertainment. True investing is not about the thrill of watching a stock spike in real time or feeling like a genius after a lucky win. Those moments may feel satisfying, but they are traps. The market has a cruel habit of rewarding reckless behavior in the beginning, only to crush the overconfident later. What feels fun today can become a costly lesson tomorrow, and Soros understood this better than anyone. His calm, almost detached approach was the opposite of the gamblers rushing into the market with glittering eyes. Professional investors rarely chase excitement. They chase certainty, structure, and repeatable processes. They build models, analyze risks, study historical cycles, and prepare for scenarios that most people never think about. This is the unglamorous part of investing that social media never shows. The late-night research, the spreadsheets filled with assumptions, the quiet hours spent thinking rather than reacting. Young investors often misunderstand this, confusing volatility for opportunity and noise for insight. They refresh charts every 5 seconds, jump between trends, and treat the market like a playground. Soros would call this a dangerous addiction, a psychological trap that makes you feel active but keeps you blind. Real investing is slow. It requires sitting still when others are frantic. It demands emotional neutrality when the crowd is screaming in fear or greed. And most importantly, it forces you to confront your own impulses. The market doesn't destroy people because it is evil. It destroys them because they enter with the wrong mindset. To treat investing as a job means approaching it with respect, planning before acting, measuring before deciding, and staying calm even when the world is burning. Soros believed that the ones who survive and prosper are those who treat the boring parts seriously. The excitement seekers eventually disappear, but the disciplined builders, the ones who quietly study, think, and execute, are the ones who endure. In the end, investing rewards the worker, not the thrill seeker. And that is the truth most beginners learn only after paying a heavy price. Respect the boring part. Discipline creates wealth. Soros' statement, if investing is entertaining, you're probably not making any money. Good investing is boring, is more than a witty remark. It is a warning forged from decades of experience battling markets that can seduce, deceive, and ultimately destroy those who approach them with excitement rather than discipline. To most young investors, boring sounds like a flaw, something to avoid. But in Soros's world, boredom is a weapon, a shield against chaos, and a signal that you are following a structured, rational process. The truth is uncomfortable. The wealthiest investors in history did not build their fortunes through heroic, dramatic decisions every day. They succeeded because they embraced a workflow that looked monotonous to outsiders. The same routines, the same research habits, the same slow, steady evaluation of risks and returns. Nothing glamorous, nothing explosive, just discipline, repeated thousands of times. But why is boredom so powerful? Because boredom means your emotions are quiet. It means you are not being tossed around by excitement, fear, or the intoxicating rush of feeling right. Markets punish emotion. The more thrilling the experience feels, the more likely it is that you are reacting impulsively rather than thinking clearly. Soros understood that excitement clouds judgment, and judgment is the only real weapon an investor has. Discipline, on the other hand, allows you to step back, zoom out, and make decisions from a place of clarity. It forces you to prepare before acting, instead of improvising under pressure. It ensures that each move is part of a broader strategy, not a random shot in the dark based on a headline, rumor, or moment of hype. Young investors often underestimate how difficult discipline truly is. It is not simply following the rules. It means waking up every day and choosing consistency over impulse. It means sticking to your plan even when the market looks tempting, hypnotic, or terrifying. It means analyzing boring data when everyone else is chasing excitement. It means accepting that your greatest victories may come from the quiet decisions no one else notices. There is a hidden drama in discipline, the tension between your long-term goals and your short-term desires. Every market fluctuation tests your patience. Every tempting trade challenges your commitment. Every moment of quiet boredom is an opportunity to either strengthen your resolve or break it. Soros believed that those who master this internal battle eventually rise above the crowd. Because in the world of investing, boredom is not the enemy. It is the foundation on which real wealth is built. Independent thinking, a rare advantage. George Soros built his reputation not by following the crowd, but by challenging it. In a world where investors cling to popular narratives and feel safer inside the herd, Soros walked alone, sometimes in the opposite direction of everyone else. This ability to think independently is not merely a personality trait. It is a powerful competitive advantage, one that few people possess and even fewer dare to use. Independent thinking begins with a simple but difficult question. What if everyone is wrong? Most investors never ask this because it forces them to step outside the warm comfort of consensus. The crowd provides emotional safety. When you lose with everyone else, the pain feels shared. But when you bet against them and lose, the failure feels personal and humiliating. Soros knew this psychological trap and refused to fall into it. He trained himself to question assumptions, analyze contradictions, and search for truths hidden beneath the noise. This contrarian mindset is not about being rebellious for the sake of rebellion. It is about clarity, seeing what others cannot or refuse to see. Soros once remarked that markets are wrong most of the time, and the key is recognizing when they are wrong. This demands a sharp, flexible mind capable of flipping perspectives, challenging deeply held beliefs, and embracing uncomfortable possibilities. For young investors, independent thinking is both a blessing and a burden. It requires courage to stay calm while everyone panics, and discipline to stay skeptical when everyone is euphoric. The emotional pressure can be intense. Imagine watching a crowd rush into an investment while your analysis says disaster is coming. Do you follow them, or do you trust your own mind? Those moments of tension define the line between amateurs and masters. Soros mastered this art. During crisis events, while others reacted emotionally, he observed carefully, searching for cracks in the collective narrative. When he famously broke the Bank of England, it wasn't luck. It was the result of independent analysis that contradicted the beliefs of entire governments, institutions, and global markets. Independent thinking does not guarantee you will always be right, but it ensures that when you are right in a way everyone else is not, and that creates extraordinary opportunities. The market rewards those who think differently and think clearly. In a world addicted to groupthink, Soros's advice stands tall. Train your mind to see what others overlook, question the obvious, and trust your ability to analyze the world without the crowd's permission. Accept and manage risk, the art of survival. If there is one principle that defines George Soros's career more than any other, it is his relationship with risk. While most people fear risk or try desperately to avoid it, Soros approached it with a kind of calm respect, almost like a scientist studying a dangerous but fascinating phenomenon. He understood that the market is not a safe place, and survival depends not on eliminating risk, but on managing it before it manages you. Young investors often fall into two traps: reckless confidence or paralyzing fear. Some chase opportunities with blind optimism, convinced that every trade will go their way. Others are so afraid of losing that they never take meaningful action. Soros rejected both extremes. He believed risk is neither a monster nor a friend. It is simply a fundamental reality of markets, one that must be measured, controlled, and used strategically. Soros's philosophy was brutally honest. You will be wrong and you will lose money. The question is not whether you will make mistakes, but how quickly you can recognize them and how effectively you can adjust. His famous reflexivity theory wasn't just an academic concept, it was a survival tool. It taught him to constantly question his assumptions, especially when markets moved against him. Instead of defending his ego, he defended his capital. Managing risk is an emotional battle as much as a mathematical one. Imagine watching your investment fall sharply while the world screams in panic. Your instincts tell you to freeze or cling to hope. But Soros's discipline demanded the opposite. Act, analyze, adapt. He became known for his ability to cut losses without hesitation, as if his emotions were disconnected from the money. But in reality, he simply understood that survival comes before pride. The drama of risk management is often hidden. It lives in the quiet moments when you decide whether to hold or exit, whether to trust your strategy or abandon it. Every decline tests your psychology, every unexpected move challenges your discipline, and every mistake, if handled correctly, becomes a lesson that strengthens your future decisions. Soros's true genius was not in predicting markets, but in controlling damage when he was wrong. Anyone can look smart in good times, only the disciplined survive bad ones. The market does not reward bravery for its own sake. It rewards those who respect risk enough to prepare for the worst while aiming for the best. To Soros, risk was not the enemy. Ignorance of risk was. And for young investors, this mindset is the thin line between temporary setbacks and total destruction. Find your competitive edge. Create calculated leaps. In the world of investing, success is rarely the result of luck or following the crowd. George Soros understood this better than anyone. What set him apart was his relentless pursuit of a competitive edge, a unique perspective or strategy that allowed him to see opportunities invisible to others. Without such an edge, investors drift through markets like ships without a compass, reacting to waves instead of navigating them. A competitive edge is not something you stumble upon. It must be built, refined, and defended. For Soros, this meant developing a way of thinking that blended psychology, economics, and intuition. He looked at markets not as static systems, but as dynamic organisms shaped by human behavior. This allowed him to detect distortions before they became obvious, turning small insights into bold, calculated moves. For young investors, the search for an edge begins with recognizing a sobering truth. You cannot outperform millions of others by doing exactly what they do. If your ideas come from the same news headlines, same trending charts, and same social media sources as everyone else, you are not competing, you are following. Soros's career proved that genuine advantage lies in the hidden corners where others are too distracted or too fearful to look. Finding your edge requires specialization. Maybe it's understanding a specific industry better than the average investor. Maybe it's mastering data analysis, recognizing macroeconomic patterns, or analyzing crowd psychology. Whatever it is, your edge becomes the lens through which you interpret chaos, allowing you to see clarity where others see noise. But identifying an edge is only half the battle. The true test comes when you use it. Soros was famous for acting decisively when his conviction was strong. His legendary bet against the British pound was not reckless gambling. It was a calculated leap built on months of analysis, a deep understanding of macroeconomic mechanics, and the courage to trust his insight even when entire governments disagreed. This is where tension enters the story. Every bold move carries the risk of extraordinary loss, but without boldness backed by evidence, extraordinary gains are impossible. Soros believed that when your edge aligns with reality, hesitation is more dangerous than action. The moment of opportunity is brief, and only those who have prepared, studied, and sharpened their insight can seize it. Your competitive edge is your identity in the market. It shapes your decisions, protects you from noise, and gives you the confidence to make moves others cannot even imagine. In a world filled with imitators, Soros's message is clear. Find what makes you different, refine it until it becomes powerful, and use it to take steps that are not reckless but courageously calculated.